Hello, everyone, and welcome to the semifinals of the StarCityGames.com Baltimore Open Weekend. Cedric Phillips, Patrick Sullivan, we are here in the booth. Nick Miller down in the feature match area, getting ready to watch Shaheen Soorani against Jonathan Rosum. It's a Grixis control mirror. It's the grizzled veteran against the young pup, and the grizzled veteran is going to play a Ponderino. See if Shaheen still got it. She ain't going to keep with the Ponder. Let's go back over to Rosum now for his first turn of what could be a pretty lengthy matchup, truth be told. A lot of back and forth here. A lot of Snapcaster Mages, Kolaghan's Commands, and Jace the Mind Sculptors to be played. This is going to be a Baleful Strix, and that will resolve. We'll head back over to Rosum now. And Rosum will draw. He's got a copy of Hymn to Torak in hand. He's going to sacrifice a couple of fetch lands. See if John wants to go towards the powerful discard spell. I'm curious what the most important cards in this matchup are. It's probably Cake Command and Snapcaster?
I'm guessing it's Snapcaster Mage, Hymn to Torak, and Jace the Mind Sculptor in various orders, and that sort of fluctuates based on where the game's at, how early, how late. I mean, I'm guessing the way the game ends the most often is someone with Jace. But how do you get to that point?
Well, one Snapcaster Mage down, and another Baleful Strix will be placed in the graveyard. So some nice hits there for Jonathan Rosum, as Shaheen's going to come in here for one. Another Snapcaster Mage in hand here for Shaheen. Looks like he might ponder again, and he will. So take a look at the top couple of cards, Delta among them. Shaheen's pace of play with these control decks pretty quick because he's been playing them for, over a decade.
Yep, and I mean, that's the skill you have to develop, is being able to win your matches in time.
Yeah, for as long as we've been covering matches here, I can't tell you the last time I've seen Shaheen pick up a draw, actually.
Right, yeah, he plays very fast.
We're going to see a Hymn to Torak here now from Shaheen. That card's gone, and that card's gone. See what he loses: a Snapcaster and an Angler. Quick update on another match. David Long, not messing around. Wins game number 1 over Matthew Vuk. Golgari Depth's up a game. Rosum will play a land here. Let's see what the follow-up is going to be, as these two appear to be having a pretty good time playing each other thus far. As the Baleful Strix. Rosum will draw a card.
Everyone gets to sit around and 2-for-1 each other.
Yeah.
How could you not be happy?
What a blast. Shaheen got to sacrifice a Polluted Delta.
Jace, Fate Seal, and that's game.
Bait.
And
that is.
And that's game. You want a Fate Seal, get a bolt range or what have you?
Well, he's going to get a little snappy.
Oh.
And a Hymya. I think you might be right about the importance of Hymn to Torak in this matchup. Because, yikes. 2-for-1 city. There goes that card. And there goes that card. What are we losing? K Command and Delta. K Command's a pretty important one. And Strix might attack. Shaheen, yeah, he's going to get in there with the Strix. Rosum going to take the point of damage. Rosum with a Bolt and another card in hand. He'll draw a card for the turn. This will be a Brainstorm. So 3 cards coming. 2 will go back here for John. Delta, Meyer, Ponder the draws.
Nice Brainstorm there, and another cantrip plus fetch land, shuffle away the other lands.
Yep.
Exciting stuff.
It can be. There's an Underground Sea. 2-for-1. Aisle 3. Here's a Ponder. Rosum, take a look at the top couple of cards. Forgot if he's happy with these 3 cards or not. Or if he'd rather have a mystery card from the mystery box. We'll take something from the mystery box. Let's go back over to Shaheen now. Another Baleful Strix. Shaheen will cast it that way and draw a card, which means it doesn't appear as though he can play Hymn to Torak, because there's a Lightning Bolt on the Snapcaster Mage. That doesn't necessarily mean it's true, though, because he hasn't played a land for the turn. There's a Scalding Tarn. He'll just pass the turn back over to Rosum. Rosum will draw. He'll just play a land and pass the turn back.
I think Rosum's last card is Force of Will.
I think you're right. That 5th land means that he can hard cast it. That's likely to be on Shaheen's radar right now. But if you are Shaheen, you have to think about quite a few cards here. You got to think about Snap, you got to think about K-Command, you got to think about Force of Will. Getting Strixie. I think Shaheen may have thought that Baleful Strix was dead, but there's your trade.
I think the attack is still good.
I do too. There's a Swamp. Shaheen with a K-Command in hand right now. One of the better cards he can have in this situation.
So the fact that Rosum played land number 5, and in these kind of matchups, you know, so much of the game is about shuffling away extra stuff, pretty loudly indicates Force of Will.
Yep.
But
I agree with you. That was a draw step Force of Will to get that. Actually, it was an upkeep Force of Will to get that card. More importantly, tap him out. Looks like Shaheen has an island and a Force of Will in his hand. But Shaheen's the only one with a threat. Let's see what this is going to be. Rosum thinking K-Command? Might be thinking Liliana, actually. Okay. There's Liliana. Can't let that resolve. No way. Too much card advantage there. There's an Angler. But that's one that Shaheen doesn't have to be too concerned with because of the Strix.
although now Rosum's draws of removal, which are normally pretty bad, get quite a bit better.
Correct. Hypnotorac, the draw there for Shaheen. It's gotten worse now. I think Rosum may have just picked up a copy of K-Command. Timely top deck, if that's the case. Yes, it is. Kill that. Return this. Oh, so he's just going to go big.
Yeah, he does not want to leave himself with a card in hand playing against discard. So he wants to get the best proactive thing he can do. And that would be another Gurmag Angler.
So now Rosum, who was looking to be behind, has now caught back up and has actually taken the lead here. And Shaheen's in a spot where if he draws Jace the Mind Sculptor, it's not particularly good at all. So we'll just play a Swamp and pass the turn back. Rosum going to draw his card. He'll attack here for 10. Shaheen's going to fall down to 4. And Shaheen is going to play a Ponder and hope to get a little bit of lucky here. So he'll do that with an Underground Sea. Shuffle. Little Soorani.
It's one of those spots where you need to ponder into brainstorm into multiple relevant cards.
And I think Baleful Strix is a way to get this party started, too.
Yeah, Strix is another one.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see what Shaheen's going to find off this mystery card from Ponder. He'll draw. Didn't get a great look at it, but Ponder's done resolving. And he's going to tap 3. Let's see what this is. Liliana, they both have it in their deck. Minus.
He can Strix into Angler.
Yep. Play a land because he hasn't played one yet. Okay. Just got to decide how he wants to tap. Going to sacrifice this fetch land now. Will Shaheen's going to fall down to 3 in bolt range, but at this stage can't do much about it.
Right. If he's able to Strix into a Gurmag Angler here, he's dead to bolt still because you just bolt the Strix.
Yep.
So it's not changing that calculus at all.
Also looks like he's going to be dead to Fatal Push. But again, not a lot he
Right.
can do there. There's Strix. Draw. A lot of work. There's Snap. Well, that solves that. Good draw step there for Rosum. So, Jonathan Rosum is going to win game number 1 here over Shaheen Soorani. Grixis control. Mirror goes to the young pup thus far. As you're going to find a pretty similar sideboard here. We're going to start with Shaheen on the left, who's got 3 Surgicals, 2 Pyroblast, 2 Flusterstorm, 2 Needles, a Toxic Deluge, a Red Elemental Blast, Hydroblast, True Nemesis, Grim Lavamancer, Dreadbore.
I'm guessing the Blasts come in, probably the True Name Nemesis as well, and maybe the Flusterstorms. I would not go near Grim Lavamancer in this kind of matchup, even though it seems like a grindy sort of control affair. Anything that just stays in play, that doesn't generate any value, I think is really bad in matchups defined by Kolaghan's command.
I think that makes some sense. Cakeman can kill that and do some other stuff. Or a card that generates a lot of value can generate even more that way. For Jonathan Rosum, 3 Surgicals, 2 Pyroblasts, just like Shaheen, along with 2 Flusterstorms, 2 Blood Moons to Shaheen's, looks like none. Shaheen, not much of a Blood Moon fan, it appears. Red Blast, Needle, Marsh Casualties, Lilion, the Last Hope, Deluge, and also a True Name on his end, too.
Much the same thing here. The True Name, the extra Planeswalker, and some amount of the Red Elemental Blast, Pyroblast, Flusterstorm sort of stuff.
Well, these players are going to get ready here for another game of the Grixis Control Mirror. 2-for-1 City, but Rosum was able to come out of that one ahead. Gurmag Angler does kind of break things open a little bit because it is so big and so cheap.
Yeah, and it can close out the game very quickly. And in these games that often, one draw step can swing it really dramatically. Being able to end the game really, really fast instead of relying on Snapcaster Mage beats has a role.
Well, those are the options there for both players. Game number 2 about to be underway, but very quickly a message from our wonderful sponsors over at Ultimate Guard. Let's watch game number 2 here in just a moment, shall we? Between Shaheen Soorani and Jonathan Rosum, the Grixis Control Mirror that Rosum is currently up a game in. For young lion John Rosum, this is going to be top 8, number 10. He's got his first open win in Dallas a little bit earlier this year with Kevin King and Julian John and his teammates. Rosum was on Humans that weekend in the Modern seat. And for the 20-year-old from Spencer, Massachusetts, I am very excited to see what his career does hold playing Magic. He does have that win, as I mentioned. Doesn't have that invitational top 8 just yet. But he's done so much in his life at such a young age here, between the singing, the acting, the Hearthstone grinding, and now the Magic grinding here on the SCG Tour. I know we're going to see him in Columbus in a couple of weeks for the Guilds of Ravnica release weekend. Not sure who the teammates will be just yet, but whoever he does team up with, they'll have a good chance at another top 8, that's for sure.
No question. I mean, Rosum's results here at a really short period of time. This level of open top 8s usually portends quite a future.
Yes, it does. It's going to be very, very exciting to watch him play Magic, no matter where he elects to do so. For Shaheen, the 35-year-old, well, he's played a lot.
Yeah.
15 years older than Rosum. And the results are similar, but there's one difference. 5 invitational top 8s, folks. Shaheen's had quite a bit of success here on the SCG Tour, has the member of Team Card Hoarder, master's degree in education, public high school teacher and administrator. And what did I call him? I called him the Persian playboy. Mm-hmm. The Persian cooking connoisseur is Shaheen, longtime friend of mine. Been casting spells alongside this guy for seriously a decade now. Pretty unbelievable. Had a great match against him a handful of years ago at Grand Prix Boston Worcester, actually, where we were both deep into day number 2. I think it was the round 14 I played against him. His draft deck wasn't very good. Do you know what Downpour does?
No. Is it -4, -0?
Not that good.
Well, no.
It's 1 and a blue instant, tap 3 creatures.
Okay.
I think he had multiple copies of that in his deck. And we were I was down a game. I think it may have been game 3 or something like that. But we were having a back and forth game, and he downpoured me, and I'm like, I swear, Shaheen, if you beat me with Downpour, I'm not going to be able to be friends with you anymore. He downpoured my creatures, attacked me down to 12. Downpoured my creatures, attacked me down to 4. And he's like, I'm out of him. I don't have anything left, And I'm just like, what's going on over there?
It's an interesting element to Shaheen's game. For as much as he likes playing, Grixis Control, Esper Control, all formats, in Limited, where he's also had quite a bit of success, he is much more in the nickel and dime beatdown.
He is.
Sort of style.
Yeah.
He's a big fan of Bump in the Night and Innistrad and just any of that kind of stuff.
And I had drafted, that was back when I was streaming, so I had drafted so much of that format, and I was very comfortable. And that's that might actually be my second favorite Limited format of all time. So he cast the first Downpour, and I'm like, dude, that card is not okay. And he's like, I know. And then he casts another one. I'm like, Shaheen, not like this, man. I can't not like this, please. And it would just, we're sharing a laugh, and it was a lot of fun, actually. He's a pretty laid-back cat who's still having a lot of fun playing this game.
Do you only fondly remember the story because you ended up winning?
No, I would have remembered more if I lost, because losing to 2 downpours is embarrassing. Yeah. I just remember thinking, because that was a flight, that was a tournament where I flew there on my dad's miles. This is when I was just broke and streaming for a living, and I'm like, Dad, can I go to this tournament? Because I've tested a lot, I think I'm going to win. He's like, you say that every time. And I'm like, look, I don't need your garbage right now. I really want to go. And so Michael, Jacob, and I went together. And
Stream team.
Stream team.
Shout out Stream team.
Yeah, way back in the day. And it was just a total blast. And playing against Shaheen in round 14, and then Dan Jordan in round 15. A very memorable tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Very memorable. Played against Corey McDuffie that weekend, too. Rest in peace.
Mm. I don't think I've played against Shaheen. I've certainly not played against Rosum.
I've played against Shaheen multiple times, and you've definitely not played against Rosum. Because you hung it up way before.
Yeah.
The thought of you playing against Rosum is like maybe online, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
That's it, but definitely not in real life. Too young and you're too old. Maybe we'll see him in Denver.
Maybe.
Yeah, that'd be good. Shaheen going to take a look at 6 cards. Scry top to the bottom. It's an island, it's a ponder.
I don't know if he'll make it out to Grand Prix Denver, but if I play against him and I'm way ahead, I am going to start singing the chorus to Footloose.
I approve. 100% approve. Please do. There's a bloodstained buyer. Gonna pass the turn back. Sing it with me, John.
Yeah. Yo, you know this one.
Yeah. A volcanic island and a ponder. Machine, think about countering this?
Well, it's one of those spots where, the Pyroblasts don't line up against everything. And especially in a matchup where Totorak is involved, it's really dangerous to get caught with the wrong reactive cards in your hand at the wrong time. And since you can't Red Blast to him, there's an argument to just say, well, I don't want to get himmed with this being one of the 2 cards remaining in my hand. So just cash in while you can.
Shaheen's going to crack this fetch, though I'm not sure if he wants to or not, and maybe he's trying to figure out exactly what land to get. You got to remember, you don't have to worry about Wasteland in this matchup, which is actually pretty nice. Means your lands are always going to be around, do their thing. Don't have to really worry about a card like Blood Moon, I would think. So, just make sure you get the right lands to be able to do your thing. I think he's going to go with bad lands. I have always been curious if it's correct to counter those cantripping spells.
There's also, if your hand's really bad, there's some argument of hopefully they just don't have enough lands to function. You fight over the cantrips and, hope their hand's not functional. And Shaheen's already mulliganed. He doesn't really have a whole lot going on here, so that could be a motivation too.
Jason Mind Sculptor the draw. Shaheen will pass the turn back, misses the land drop. Rosum picked up a copy of Himatorak. Well, this is the scary part, right?
Yeah, I mean this is the cost of Flusterstorm instead of Red Blast.
Mm-hmm.
And on the play, missing land drops, now getting hemmed, in a lot of trouble.
Snapcaster Mage down, Himatorak down, and Shaheen really wanted to cast one of his. He'll draw a card, pass the turn back because he's picked up a copy of Dreadbore.
Nice.
Oh boy. This is not getting any easier here for Shaheen. Liliana going up to 4 for Rosum. The young lion looks like he's going to run away with this one potentially as Liliana goes up to 5. If that thing ultimates, Shaheen can't win. He does have that Dreadbore in hand.
Yeah, he does have a Dreadbore, but, that Dreadbore is pretty taxed in the best circumstances and not castable right now.
Mm-hmm. There's a Pluto Delta. Liliana up to 6. Shaheen will draw a card. Can he find a land? He can find a cantrip. It's a Brainstorm.
Don't let him off the hook.
There's a Flusterstorm. No real way to fight back with the Red Blast there. Yep, that's countered. Liliana's ultimate, I believe, is 7. So Shaheen's got one more turn. Up to 7 it goes. Need that land. Drew that Force of Will too late. There's that Dreadbore. There's that Red Blast. And he'll extend the hand because he cannot beat Liliana's ultimate. Jonathan Rosum going to win this match here over Shaheen Soorani. 2-0. The Grixis Control Mirror goes over to Rosum, and he is on his way to the finals.